timing. And so the universe then has no choice. First attribute of the secret place. The secret place is a place of revelation. It makes you free because it awakens you and makes you consciously aware that everything that you thought was holding you is an illusion. Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Good evening. I know. You don't have to say anything. I know. It's late. It's 8:30 and I'm just getting on. It's just been that kind of day. It's been extremely busy and I have just been on the run, but I'm here and we are going to get into it. Even if we don't cover a lot, we're going to cover some tonight. We are going to get into this conversation with God. These conversations, some pertinent questions, pertinent answers, that the Lord has been giving, and that I want to have a robust, growing, expanded conversation with those of you who have joined me tonight. Do me a favor, the few of you that are on right now, go ahead and tag and share and text and let as many people as you can think of, all of our regulars, let them know that we are on. Invite them to come and join us in the conversation. I promise you it's going to be worth your while. I promise you it's going to be intense and informative and instructive, that it's going to be impactful for your life. So just go ahead and get them over, and you come on and prepare yourself to get into this conversation tonight. As we go further in. We're going to go further into conversations with God tonight. I know it's going to be very, very impactful for your life. Okay? It's going to be very impactful. Very impactful. As I've said before, that we're in the midst of a great awakening. A great awakening. More and more people are becoming consciously aware of all of everything, the Creator God, or the divine truth, or the universal presence, whatever terminology that you use that you are comfortable with in defining God. I did have a great day, Sister Diana. I've had a really good day. It's been a busy day. And so more and more people are becoming consciously aware. And unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on your perspective, many have had to abandon religion in order to find God. And again, that is not in any way bad-mouthing or denigrating any religious ideology, because they serve a necessary purpose. They, for most of us, created the platform or the foundation that launched us in our spiritual curiosity to begin to learn more and more about God, and then consequently learn about ourselves and who we are as it relates to God and this three-dimensional experience in the earth that we are having as spirits who are consciously aware of themselves being human in the earth. And so I am by no means denigrating religion in any way, but what I am saying is as a result of this mass awakening that is taking place, many people who for years embraced a particular religious ideology, whether it is Christianity or Islam or Hinduism or Buddhism or Taoism, are now transcending those religions as they begin to ask important and pertinent questions that those religions don't really leave the room for you to ask, or They don't offer real answers to the questions. They obfuscate or play avoidance or word games and wordplay and manipulation to avoid dealing with real questions head on. And, or they give these overly super spiritual, supernatural, mystical answers that are nonsensical. Okay, as though God works in mysterious ways, his wonders to perform. No, not at all. First of all, that's not even scriptural. That's not accurate at all. Everything about God, God wants us to know. He wants us to be in the know. He wants us to be consciously aware of all that is God, because all that is God is us, and all that is us is God. That we are one with God. There is no separation. The only thing that divides us in any way is our own mind, our conscious awareness of our oneness with God. The belief in the illusion of separation is of the greatest detriment to spiritual growth, maturity, and conscious awareness and enlightenment of more than anything else in the world. It's the belief that we are somehow separate from God, that victim consciousness, victim mentality that thinks that there is something outside of ourselves, something, someone outside of ourselves that is not either the cause of our comfort or the cause of our conflict. When in fact, yes, when in fact, it is nothing outside of us, but it is the God that lives in us, through us, and as us. That each of us, as unique expressions of God, are the vehicles, the conduit through which God is allowed to experience itself as being human and gets to know itself in all of these different forms and all of these different unique experiences, the billions upon trillions of three-dimensional beings, that humans that have occupied this space from what we call the past, the present, and even into the future, is God experiencing and expressing itself in those forms, realizing itself in those forms, and each of us being released from the thought, the imagination, the mind of God into form to occupy this space and time, so that we can be that lived experience of God in the earth, given a soul that is the processor, if you will, for our spirit to take all of the knowing, the omniscience, omnipotence, omnipresence, and omniactivity of our divinity, and then to distill it through the soul, whereinto it enters our conscious awareness, and we are able to live it out or have a lived experience in this earth. But many of us have forgotten our original intent, our purpose, our choosing to enter this earth realm and to have this experience. And so we were given an identity, given a purpose, given a reason, given a set of beliefs that are antithetical to our true nature. And so we find ourselves living in a place of chaos and conflict that is of our own making, because we live in the reality that we create from our conscious mind. It's that law of cause and effect. And so, as what an awakening does is remind us of our divine state, of our own divinity, of who we truly are. And in the knowing is power. Being consciously aware of that is power, because it then gives us the the knowledge that we can control our own destiny, that we can create the reality that we live in, and that we can do it with intentionality, so that we have the experience that we desire, not the experience that is hoisted upon us, not an experience that is the consequence of our unconscious actions and our unconscious thoughts and words and deeds, but that we are creating an experience that we most desire, that best fits who we are, because we are moving with intentionality, incorporating the laws that govern the kingdom or the universe, and using them for as the tools that they are for our own benefit and our own advancement. And so uh, that's the crux of the conversation. That's the crux of what it is that we're trying to delve deeper in. And so I began um, uh, probably somewhere around about November, around the latter part of November up until now, having this series of conversations. Oh, not series. I said that last night. Let me correct that. It is not a series of conversation. It is an ongoing conversation that has covered the span of about 3 to 4 weeks now, maybe a little more than that, um, with God. And I do, I always pray and meditate, and I've had conversations with the Lord before, but none that was as extensive and in depth as this one continues to be. And the conversation is continuing. As I am coming on to have this dialogue with you, I am still in the midst of the conversation. It is not, when I say going on, ongoing over the weeks, it's not as though I'm spending every day, just sitting and talking to God. Of course not. You know that. You've known that. I have to go out and go to work, and I got other things that I have to take care of. But it's just in moments and times, an hour here, 45 minutes here, another 2 hours here, of conversation where we just pick up right where we left off and continue on in the conversation, asking questions, getting answers. And I do understand, and let me also say this at the top as a disclaimer. I do understand that everything that I am experiencing, hearing, and distilling to you comes through the conduit of my own conscious awareness, my spirit, and that encompasses my own perceptions and biases and experiences as well. So by no means am I saying that I have somehow cornered the market on anything. I am only sharing with you what has been shared with me. And if it resonates with you, then wonderful. These profound truths bring you peace and joy, and bring you encouragement, or give you tools that will help you to advance in your own development and growth, then great. If it doesn't resonate with you, then that's okay too. Okay? You have to know God for yourself. Each of us individually have to have our own real, authentic, growing, developing, and evolving relationship with the all of everything, with the divine creator. We have to have that relationship, and every relationship is unique. Yours is not mine. Mine is not yours. There is some commonality of principles, commonality of practices and patterns, but it's unique and idiosyncratic to you and to me, because it is God in us, in you, in me, through us, through you and me, as you and me, experiencing and expressing itself. So I put a lot of thought into how I would go about trying to disseminate so much information um, during the course of these empowerment sessions as we have these conversations. And I know there are not a lot of people that are on because I know how late it is, and that's okay. They can catch it on the replay. Those that can and that will, that are interested, can catch it on the replay. I'm not doing this for popularity or for likes or to even have a bunch of followers. I'm doing it because I feel compelled to share this information with those whosoever will, whoever wants to hear it, receive it, grow from it, and learn from it. Whoever's interested in having the conversation, that's it. That's it. That's all it's about. So I thought very long and hard about how to uh, distill all of this information, to release it. And there's so much. I mean, I'm using an iPad, and I'm telling you, my notes go on for forever, forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. And so what I thought I would do is I started going through all of the notes on the conversations, and I take very detailed notes. Anybody who knows me knows that I'm very detailed when it comes to this kind of thing. And so I took very detailed notes, almost writing verbatim, word for word, everything that God was saying to me as I asked questions and carried on this conversation. And so I went back through and started reading through the notes, and decided to skim through and pull out some highlights, what I think are the cornerstone or pertinent parts of the conversation, that I will give to you, and then I will give them to you in a compact form, and then we'll go through each of them and unpack them one by one, what the implications are, the ramifications of each one of them are, those statements are. Okay? So far, I've gathered about 18 of them. There's probably going to be more, but I'm going to give you the 18 tonight. Okay? I'm not going to try and get into deep conversation about each of them. I'm just going to give them to you, and I'm going to try and do it in a manner that is clear and concise and slow enough for you to be able, those of you who are taking notes, to be able to write it down as well. And then we'll come back and we'll discuss each one of them in fuller detail, and the ramifications and implications and possibilities, and the liberation that comes from each of these statements of fact. Okay, so those of you who are on, are you ready? Are you ready? I know there's only like maybe, I think I'm looking at the number up here, there's about 7 of you. So total over all the pages, from YouTube to Facebook, there's probably about 7 of you, and that's okay. Are you 7 ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Y'all say something in the comments. Okay. Sister Winston says, ready. I got one person that's ready. Okay. Okay. Is that, oh, hey, Deborah. Good to see you. I'm so glad you're on. Dee Dee, well, I know you ready. Of course you ready. You always ready. You right here with me. Okay. All right. So, number 1, life is an ongoing process of creation. I want you to think about that for a moment. And again, I'm not going to get into it. We'll unpack it later. But the first truth that I want to give you is that life is an ongoing process of creation. Creation has not stopped. It continues. We are the creators that are creating the life. And I'm going to unpack that. There's a lot there. Life is an ongoing process of creation. Number two, a secret that all ascended masters have learned is to stop changing one's mind, but to keep choosing the same thing again and again until it manifests. And if it serves you or continues to serve you, continue to choose it. This one right here knocked me off my feet. Let me say it again. I'm going to read it again. One of the secrets of ascended masters, when we talk about ascended masters, we're talking about people like Jesus or Buddha or Krishna or okay, and those of you who religious Christian minded church folk, don't get offended when you start, well, how you gonna put these people on the same plane? They're all ascended masters. If you thought that Jesus was the only one who had ascended to a level of transcendent knowledge, power, and divinity, then you are sadly mistaken. And not only Jesus, but all of us as well have the capacity to be ascended masters. Why do you think that it is recorded that Jesus himself said, the things you see me do, you have the capacity to do also, and greater work shall you do. So don't be offended at the idea that someone else could do exactly and be exactly as Jesus was. Ascended masters, one of the secrets to ascended masters is that they stop changing their mind. They keep choosing the same thing until it manifests. And if it continues to serve them, they continue to choose it. Man, this is good. This is good. I'm just going to drop this nugget real quick, because when he released this to me, I wrote a whole 2 paragraphs about this. He was saying that one of the reasons that we pray or affirm or confess or decree and declare, and then we don't see results, is that we are making a specific choice, releasing a certain energy into the universe at the moment, and then we turn around a day later, a week later, 3 days later, and make a different choice that counteracts the choice that we made before. And so we don't see the manifestation because we keep changing our mind about what it is that we desire to call forth. Whew, I'm telling you, this is, he used as an example one of the allegories from the gospel of the man who saw men as trees. Woo! Again, okay, I'm not going to get into it. I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop right there. Okay, so one of the secrets, I'll read it again. Yes, a secret of all ascended masters is to stop changing one's mind, to keep choosing the same thing until it manifests. And as long as it continues to serve you, keep choosing it. Okay? And number 3 actually buttresses or connects to number 2, because it simply says, don't take no for an answer. Watch this. This is going to kill you. Man, I said I'm not going to unpack each one of these, and I'm not. But just let me just drop this on you real quick. That whole mythology about God answers prayer 3 ways, yes, no, and wait. No. There's never a no. Anytime you hear, receive, or sense a no, it's coming from within and not from God. It's coming from your own psyche and not from God. God's answer is always yes and amen. Yes, and it is so. Yes, and amen. The power brings it into manifestation. So don't take no for an answer. If you hear or sense a no, recognize that it emanates from your own psyche, your own consciousness, probably from the realm of your beliefs about yourself, about your environment, about your culture, about your world, about the possibilities, even about God. Don't take no for an answer. Okay? All right. Number 4, we call forth what we think, feel, and say. We call forth, we summon what we think, what we feel, and what we say. Not just you will have whatsoever you say. What we think, what we feel, and what we say. We call forth what we think, feel, and say. There's a lot there. Number 5. Okay? Life can be a process of creation or reaction. Ooh, I can't wait to deal with that one. Life can be a process of creation or reaction. We are by nature creators, but often we choose to react. Reaction, I said I'm not going to do that. Okay, I'm going to stop. But just let me say this. Reaction is just what the term implies. It is to do something you've done before, to respond in a way that you've responded before. So you are not choosing to create in the moment. You are just reacting, redoing, responding, re-performing what you've done before. In this life process, we can choose to create, to do what is natural, or do what is normal. I wish I had time tonight. We're gonna go through one by one. Write that down right there, that piece. You can do what's natural or do what's normal. Many times we choose to do what's normal instead of doing what's natural. And so instead of creating, we react. That's going to be a good one. Okay. Number 6, the soul creates, but the mind reacts. Tied to that, number 5. We can either be creators or reactors. Remember that the soul creates, but the mind reacts. Okay, I got to keep going. Number 7. That was number 6. So number 7. The soul understands. I posted this earlier because I couldn't hold it. The soul understands what the mind cannot conceive. The soul understands because it knows, the spirit knows, and the soul understands what the mind can't conceive. I'm not going to unpack. I'm just going to keep reading. Number 8. This one blew me away. Stop trying to figure out what's best for you. Listen. I know. It said to me, stop trying to figure out what is best, quote unquote, because best is a relative term, for you. How you can win the most, lose the least, how you can get what you want, how you're going to get ahead. And he said, stop figuring out what is best for you and start going with what feels like who you are. Stop trying to figure out what's best for you, mind, ego, id, and start going with what feels like you. Woo. What feels like who you are. To trust your feeling, what resonates within you. Even though it may not be logical or mapped out, but there's a knowing, a sensing. Okay, I'm not going to go in any further. Number 9, tied into what I just said. Your feelings are your truth. Man, we got to get into this. We got to talk about this one because there's a big difference between feelings and emotions. I'm sorry. Let me finish the statement first. Then I'll come back and touch that. Okay. Your feelings are your truth. What is best for you is what is true for you. And your feelings are your truth. Your feelings are your truth. And what is best for you is what is true for you. Anytime you choose to operate, function outside of your truth, to contradict your intuitive knowing, your feeling, you are doing what's normal and not what's natural. And that's not what's best for you. What's best for you is what is true for you. And there is a huge difference between feelings and emotions. Emotions are thoughts masquerading as feelings. We'll talk about that a little bit more later. Oh, goodness. Number 9. That was number 9. Okay. Number 10, which ties into what I just said again. Thoughts are not feelings. Rather, thoughts are ideas about how you should feel. When thoughts and feelings get confused, truth becomes clouded or lost. Thoughts are not feelings. Rather, they are ideas about how you should feel. When thoughts and feelings get confused, when they're conflated, then your truth becomes clouded or it's lost. Number 11. This is to get back to your feelings. Let me say it again because I got excited. Okay. To get back to your feelings, be out of your mind so you can get back to your senses. To get back to your feelings, be out of your mind. Get out of your mind. You've got to be out of your mind and in your senses. your inner sense. Those of you who have the book, you know we've talked about those interior senses. Get out of your mind and into your senses. Okay? Number 12. Very simple. Once you know truth, live it. Not once you understand it, not once you've heard it. Once you know it. Knowing is intimacy. It's experiential. Once you have encountered, experienced, become intimate with truth, then never look back. And boy, that's a whole nother conversation. The broader implications of that statement. It seems very simple, but there's a broad implication there. Because everything about your life, everything about your culture, everything about your environment, everything about your family, everything around you tends to point you back to what is normal, to what's acceptable, to what is usual. But once you have come into an intimacy, an intimate encounter with truth, you can never look back. You have to live in that truth. Because resurrecting it again creates a whole nother challenge. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. Number 13. Negative feelings are not true feelings at all. Rather, they are your thoughts about something based always on the previous experience of yourself or others. Negative feelings are not feelings at all. They are thoughts masquerading as feelings. There are thoughts trying to pretend to be your thoughts, producing emotions that seem like feelings, but they are solely based on your previous experience or the experience of others. Are you? Ooh. I can't wait to dig into some of this stuff. This is going to be really good. Good conversation. Okay? Negative feelings are not true feelings at all. They are thoughts you have about something, thoughts masquerading as feelings, emanating as emotions. You are emoting. It's a learned response or reaction. You ever notice, I said I wasn't going to unpack, but you ever notice that like when a baby is learning to walk and they keep falling, and if you don't respond, they don't respond. But when you respond and you get all flustered or scared or go running to grab them, that's when they cry. But if you don't, they don't cry. They figure that's just a part of learning to walk. But we reinforce and teach them that that's something that they should be hurt and cry and feel bad about. And so they and reach up and then it's harder for them to they're reluctant to try again because we have created an idea, an emotion in them masquerading as a feeling that creates confusion for the moment, that I'm not supposed to fall, that there's something wrong with falling, that falling is supposed to be damaging and hurting and not just a part of the process. There's a lot more. We're going to get into it. This is some good stuff. Okay. What was that? Number 13? Yes. Number 14. Previous experience is no indicator of truth. Listen to what I'm saying. Previous experience is no indicator of truth. since pure truth is created here and now. It is not reacted or reactive, but it is created in the eternal moment of now, because now is all there is. Now is all there is. Previous experiences is no indicator of truth, because, as you know, truth, there is truth and there is absolute truth. And truth, not absolute truth, but truth fluctuates and changes over time, circumstance, and situation. And what may be true today may not be true tomorrow. Are you understanding what I'm saying? It is true that when I was a teenager, I loved pizza. I would eat it all the time. I could eat a whole big 16-inch pizza by myself and still want more. That was true. If you had asked me then, do you like pizza? Absolutely. That's not true today. I don't like pizza anymore. Does that make what happened when I was a teenager a lie? No. It just means that now I have evolved or changed. I won't say call it evolving, because that's like saying liking pizza is bad, and it's not. It's just that my tastes have changed. And so I no longer like pizza. Both statements are true. There are only a few absolute truths. And we'll talk, man, I got a list of them. There is only a few of absolute truths, universal truths that never change. Only a few, only a handful. I'm going to get into those. Okay? So previous experience is no indicator of truth, since pure truth is created here and now in the eternal moment of now, and not reacted or reactive. Number 15, tied into 14. So, in order to change your response to anything, choose to be present. Be in the present, the present moment. And I think I talked to you guys about that present before. Every moment is a present moment. It's a gift. It is also preordained moment that you gift wrap and sent to yourself. So to change your response to anything, be present. Be present in the present moment. The moment that was sent to you and was what it is before you had a thought about it. In other words, be in the here and now, not in the past or in the future, which are both illusions, but in the eternal moment of now, the present moment, the present moment, the gift of this moment. Because here's number 16, because the past and the future can only exist in thought. The present moment, the present moment, is the only reality. It is all that there is. The past and the future can only exist in thought. All that is the present, present moment that you are in right now. Seek, and you shall find. Ask, shall be given. Knock, the door shall be opened. Present moment, present moment, now. Number 18, do whatever it takes to stay connected with God or goddess or truth or eternal light or eternal spirit or ultimate reality, whatever terminology you want to use. Do whatever is necessary to stay connected. Don't stop your spiritual practices, prayer, rituals, meditations, readings, writing, or whatever you have to do in order to stay in touch with the all of everything or the all that there is. That's why I said I'm not denigrating any religion or religious ideology. Some of those practices, if they work for you, if they serve you, if they aid you, then hold on to them and continue to practice them. Do what works for you, whatever's going to keep you connected, whatever's going to keep you in alignment and attuned to the Spirit of God. That's number 17. Okay? Do whatever it takes. Do whatever it takes. Do whatever it takes. And I saved number 18 because I knew this one was going, this was going to hurt some folk. This is going to make some folk upset. Here's number 18. God is not concerned with what you do. God does not care about what you do or do not do. God is merely the observer to the creation that you are making, the choices, decisions, the reality that you are creating. God is merely observing and saying yes to whatever best serves you. God has no preference. Woo, woo. I know. And I said we're going to unpack because that one's I know is going to be a little tough for people. God has no preference. God is ultimate creator, ultimate reality, the Elohim. And we see the Elohim fully expressed in the creation narrative. Day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, and then in day 6, everything changes. Because in day 6, in that present moment, God takes the thought that he thought before the foundations of the world and gives it form. Yes, we learned this already. Ephesians chapter 1, verse 4. We were chosen in him before the foundations of the world. So we existed in God, in the mind of God, the ether of God, the isness of God, before the foundations of the world. Before there was ever a world, before he ever thought about a world, God had already created us within itself. And then it created a world to put us in. And in day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, it creates. And then in day 6, it takes a drastic turn. and takes itself, the thought that is contained within itself before the foundations of the world, and gives it a form and calls it man, human. Woo! And then in giving it form, it also says it's me in form. So me in form is not separated from me at all. So me can do all that me can do. So there's no longer a need for eternal me to do anything other than observe me in the earth. And whatever me calls it, that's what it'll be. It will have dominion, authority, and power over everything. And then on the seventh day, it rested. It completed its part of creating because it had given form to itself and had now multiple creators in the earth realm to continue creating from the creation. And God has no preference because in every single day, whenever it finished its part of creation, it was good. And the same is true for its manifested form. Whatever it creates in the eye of creator, it is good if it is what you choose. And clearly it's what you choose because it's what you've created. Unless you are unconsciously creating what you do not choose. And even then, God has no preference, but we do. It's deeper. Believe me, it gets a lot deeper. That's number 18. And there's even more than that, I'm certain. I'm still going through my notes again. So that list will probably grow, but at least gives us a jumping off point with a lot of things to discuss. A lot of things to discuss. I even asked some very pertinent personal questions. I might share some of them with you. I'm looking at some of them right now. I might share some of them with you. Some of it's really personal, and so I know I'm not going to share that with you. But I will share some of the questions, a number of them, because they are, I think, helpful to everyone. I try and be as transparent as I possibly can. Oh, just glancing over my note, I saw another one. Let me just add a number 19 so you can put this one on your list as well. I just had this conversation this morning. I don't know why I didn't remember to put that on the list. The body was created to last forever. Yeah. I had that same gobsmacked look on my face that you got right now when I heard him say it. When I heard God say that to me, I'm like, what? But we get old and we die and the body decays and it breaks down. He's like, does it? Or do you break it down? It's like, I'm the creator of the universe. You mean to tell me you don't think I could do any better than to create a form that could only last for 60, 70, 80, 90 years? Okay, 100 years? And how do you account for those who live for hundreds and hundreds of years, and yet you only live for 60, 70, 80, and 90 years? Do you really think that a body that could only sustain you for 80, 90, or 100 years is the best I can do? And then he went on to explain how we changed what was intended to be an eternal form, a forever form, because we chose to have a different experience. And of course, it was marvelous in its eyes because it has no preference. And it allows us to choose what we choose. Gave some very specific examples that just made it ring home to me very clearly. Some of them very personal about my own life even. I think I could probably share one of them with you, is that I found out a few years ago that my birth year is not my birth year. My birth year on my birth certificate is not my birth year. And when I found out my birth year, he's like, okay, so did it change anything? Change anything about your body? It only changed what you thought about your body, how you thought you were supposed to respond and think and feel. But as long as you believed that you were another arbitrary number that you really still don't know, because that's just what was put on a certificate, you don't even remember the date. That's just what you were told. And so you take for granted that, well, then, since that's the age they say that you are supposed to be, and that at this age, these things are supposed to happen, you accept that as your truth, and your body has no choice but to conform to what you believe. Man, I'm telling you, it's intense, because he talked about body, talked about age, talked about time, the illusion of time. And explained very clearly and in detail how we went from living thousands of years to living 70, 80, 90, and 100 years. It's going to be a marvelous conversation. Your body was designed, it was created to live forever, because you are spirit and soul, which is immortal and eternal. Death is an illusion. The soul never dies. It just takes on a different form. And it only takes on a different form because that is the choice that we made, to experience ourselves in different forms instead of maintaining one particular form for an eternal length of time. And the difference, you can add this one down then, number 20, that the difference between our conscious choice and the collective consciousness that chooses. The power of our own individual choice and the power of the collective consciousness of all of humanity. There are certain things that all of humanity and society have agreed upon, and then all of us born into this society accept as true, even in the face of indisputable truth that it is not. But the power of that collective consciousness can be so fierce and so intense that we find ourselves submitting to it even when it is antithetical to everything that we sense and know intuitively about ourselves. What is that? 20? There's more. Uh, if I keep glancing through, I'm going to give you even more. Woo! Oh, conversations about sex. We're going to talk about that too. We did a whole teaching on sex, but this conversation took me even deeper and even further. We're going to talk about sex. We're going to talk about sex in a manner that religious, churchy folk just don't want to hear, don't want to talk about, because we have been lied to. We've taken a gift, a beautiful gift, and made it something dirty, nasty, taboo, filthy. Yet it's something we all want, we all desire, we all enjoy, but we can't let nobody know that we do, because then they'll think you're a pervert. Something wrong with you. Oh, that's not, you don't talk about that. You don't act like that. You don't behave like, you don't think like that. You don't, ooh. That's a product of that collective consciousness. We're going to talk about it. Let me read through. Or about what we call death and its illusion, reincarnation, reiteration, and the choices that we make to enter this three-dimensional plane, or other dimensional planes, and highly evolved beings from across the multiverse. And I ask questions about what, how do I say it? How these other beings communicate and commune with us and us with them. And the answer was so fascinating, because it, God essentially said that we block our own communication, our conscious awareness of it, because we still embrace the illusion of separation, that us and them, and not fully understand that there is no us and them, there is one. And we are all a part of that one. So much to talk about, so much ground to cover. Trying to think of what else. Let's see. I'm scanning my notes. And if you have any questions about anything I've said so far, ask it in the comments. I'll gladly answer. Okay, I don't see any questions coming up. So, and which is surprising to me. That's surprising. But I understand it's late also. You guys are probably tired. The few of you that are on here with me. But I'm excited to be able to go deeper into this conversation to explore all 20 of those highlights or points that I gave you. And we'll take them one by one and unpack them and show how they all intertwine and interconnect with each other to formulate an eternal truth, a divine revelation of truth, a divine revelation of God, and thereby a divine revelation of ourselves and our own divinity. And this truth will make you free. It liberates and expands your lived experience and mobility in this three-dimensional form. By tearing down all of the walls and confinements hoisted upon us by humanity and the collective consciousness of society. Okay? Not just of religion, but human society at large. And I know that, people tend to put a lot of focus on the religious aspect of it because it has done so much damage to so many people. But it is not in isolation. That damage has come from every pocket of our human society, whether it is religion or culture or environment, societal norms that have absolutely nothing to do with religion and everything to do with humanity's descending into a place of a darkness of its own creation. And all of it is good news because all of it means that, in essence, when we tie all of this together, it demonstrates to us just how magnificently powerful each of us are individually and collectively. And then gives us the clarity of thought, if we choose to follow it, to begin to change not only our world, but the world. One expression, unique expression at a time. Yes. Theresa says, this conversation will answer a lot of questions that I have asked. The teacher has appeared. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. It's answered a lot of questions that I had as well. I even asked how many iterations of life I've had. And God, she told me. She told me exactly how many iterations of life I've experienced in this earth realm. And all of the different things that are different expressions that I've been, from male to female, to from black to white to Chinese to good, bad, or what we call bad, good and bad. That whole idea around duality, ooh-wee, that's a whole nother conversation. But whether I was good or bad, a scoundrel, a thief, or a hero, a rescuer, just all of them unique experiences that I chose, that we've all chosen to have these various unique expressions and experiences in form, and that we'll choose again with every new iteration. and that the moment that we transcend and transition from this form, we take on our original form and become consciously aware not only of this experience but every experience, and the all of everything, knowing everything, being consciously aware of everything that there is to know and all that we are, and then choose to suppress or forget what we know as we enter in for the next unique iteration or experience in the earth, so we can experience it fully. Because if we entered knowing fully all things, then it would take away from the uniqueness of the experience. We know conceptually everything. The desire is to know experientially, and so to know the knowledge, the conceptual knowledge has to be suppressed so we can gain the experiential knowledge. Again, I promise you, this conversation is going to blow your mind. It's going to expand your consciousness. It will at least spark a conversation within you and thought within you, and hopefully engender you having other conversations with other people about these particular subject matters. To at least begin to ask the questions, get the answers, and then question the answers. Never run away from asking questions. The only purpose for God carrying on conversation is for you to gain conscious awareness of what you've always known, to be reminded, to remember what you've always known, what has been deconstructed, to reconstruct what has been deconstructed by your choosing to have this unique experience. I promise you, it's good. It's good stuff. It's all good because it's all God. Okay, I'm gonna stop. I've already been on for an hour and 15 minutes. That's far longer than what I intended already. I'm not gonna. We'll be back tomorrow night. And we will pick up and begin to go through those. What is it? 20 now? Is it 20, 21? However many it is now. And we'll start unpacking and talking in detail about each and every one of them and the implications of each one. Well, yes. Tehran, that is conventional thought. And let me say this, and I'm not picking on Tehran because that's all of us. There is a real tendency when you become consciously aware of things, when you begin to awaken and you become knowledgeable about new things, don't allow that knowledge, that insight, that understanding to now make you arrogant, where you become frustrated, aggravated, bothered by others who are not where you are in thought or consciousness, because you haven't always been where you are in thought and consciousness. You evolved and have come to this place. So you have to give others the same space and grace that was necessary to bring you to this place as well. It's real easy that when you start to have these experiences and gain this knowledge and begin to expand and evolve and grow, and you become awakened and you're exposed to so much light, to now want to curse the darkness. But remember, the darkness is just the other side of the light, and both are necessary. One facilitates the other. Two sides of the same coin. Okay? And it's real easy. Real easy. Yes, Theresa, me too. I have caught myself on times becoming judgmental and, these are silly, for that's so silly. I don't know why people I'm like, but I have to remind myself, hold on. Because at one point, that was you. You go back and, I have over 40 some years now, 45, 46. Oh, today, well, that's right. Today is the 18th. It's been 46 years that I've given to ministry. 46 of them that I've given, December the 18th, that I've given to ministry, 46 years. And if I go back and listen to some of the tapes and recordings of myself from 46 years ago, 40 years ago, 30 years ago, woo, I'm like, what in the world was you thinking, boy? What were you saying? But I ministered and preached and taught from the truth that I knew and understood at the moment. And in my heart, I sincerely believed that I was right. I wasn't doing things maliciously. I wasn't deliberately setting out to confuse or to manipulate, control, or contrive any kind of information. I taught what I believed to be true because it was what I knew at the time. So do I look back on those years and despise them now? No. I was given the grace and space to evolve and grow and arrive at where I am now, and I am still evolving. And so I need to give everyone else that same grace and that same space to evolve and grow and to arrive at their own pace, on their own path. All of us walk our own path and at our own pace. And it's real easy to become irritated and agitated with people who are not where you are and know what you know. But that is an indicator of what's going on internally with you. It says more about you than it does about them. I've had to catch myself several times, and remind myself, hold on, partner. You used to believe the same thing. You used to preach that better than them. Same thing. Hardcore. Could nobody beat me sending folk to hell. I could send you to hell with the best of them. Hardcore. Hells, demons, devils, witches, warlocks, spirits on. Whoo. Yes, sir. So I have mercy and grace on those who still hold on to those old ideologies. And I continuously try and expose them to higher truth. The same higher truth that, man, I remember the first time I heard Carlton Pearson come out and begin to express his truth that he had held and yet kept secret for so long. And I was a part of the course that said, this man done lost his mind. The devil just done tricked him. Okay? So we all have our journeys. Be graceful. Be kind. Offer the same grace to them as you would to you, because they are you and you are them. There is no separation, only the illusion of separation. All right? Whoa, it's been an hour and a half almost. Okay. All right. I'm done for real. All right. So tomorrow night we'll come back on. We'll start right with number 1. We'll see how far down the list we can get. And we're going to start unpacking and looking at all the ramifications and implications of what these truths are, and get more in detail about some of the conversations. And I'm going to read you direct quotes from my notes, straight from the lips of God, anthropomorphism, of course, and I'm going to speak it to you, and then we'll discuss it, and we will unpack from there. Okay? Tonight, if you like to give, you want to support, you want to sow, you can do so by using any of the means that you see on your screen. You are not obligated to, but if you'd like to, or if you are choosing to, if you have chosen to partner with us and to work in helping to build this platform and to reach others with this eternal abiding truth, then I appreciate whatever gifts or seed that you sow. You can use our Cashapp, Zelle, or PayPal, and I will thank you and appreciate your generosity greatly. Thank you for your support. I absolutely appreciate each and every single one of you. Okay? And I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow night. And I promise you it'll be earlier. I know you said, well, you said that about tonight. Yeah, I did. Okay, and I got caught up at work and other things. But no work tomorrow. I will be here. I might even come on during the day tomorrow. And then maybe come back tomorrow evening. We'll do a twofer tomorrow. How about that? We can do a twofer. Okay? And have a real good, robust conversation. Okay? All right. I love each and every one of you. I appreciate you. And I know you love me too. Have a wonderful, outstanding, and a restful and peaceful night. Good night, everybody.
Thank you for tuning in. And be sure to catch us every Sunday at 7 p.m. for empowerment.
That we are a unique expression.
Every Thursday at 7 p.m. for momentum.
The creation of God and the God who created him.
Once again, be sure to follow us on all social media platforms. And we'll see you next time.